Okay, I think we are actually live. Wow. Wow, amazing, amazing. I tell you what, this is going to be a really good half hour because quite literally we're down on the farm. Of course, another lunchtime live event talking to the people in Leeds who are doing all they can to make workplaces and businesses as sustainable as possible, as zero waste and as zero carbon. I'm Peg Alexander, kind of journalist and person about time, doing a lot of these conversations. But of course, one of the delights of lockdown has been meeting people's pets. I have to say, I mean, that is one of the best things of lockdown. I adore the cat's bottoms and everything else that we're getting to see in meetings. But today we're going one better. Forget cats, forget dogs. We're going one better because we're hoping for alpacas. Because today we are down on the farm. Today we're quite literally out and about at Meanwood Valley Urban Farm with its CEO, Adam Ogilvie. Adam, is that actually some alpacas that we can
see? It is actually some alpacas. We've got 3 alpacas. Hopefully they're not hiding.
They're not. We can see them.
Can you see? There's 2 white ones and 1 brown one. You may not be able to see the brown one. He may be in the shelter. But they may come over.
If you get too close, will they start spitting at you?
One in particular has been known to do that on quite a regular basis. Yes, but they are getting more friendly.
Are these ones as soft and gorgeous as we think of with alpacas?
These are 3 males, and I think it's fair to say they're not necessarily the softest, but they are getting better. We're handling them a lot more, and we're hoping maybe next year we'll be able to do some alpaca walking with people, but it's a slow process.
Oh, do you know what? I went to an alpaca farm. I took my mum and some friends and we did alpaca walking, and it was just an absolute delight. I have to say it was one of the most gorgeous afternoons because they were so gorgeous, and there was just something wonderful about being out with them. Right, we've got a few people watching us. So what I would say is join in the conversation, please, because it makes it so much better. So I'm sitting here, I've got an iPad in front of my laptop and I'm monitoring the conversation. So please do join in. We'll bring everybody's questions and chat into our conversation. And you're not too cold, Adam?
I'm fine. Yeah, it's nice to be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's lovely.
Let's have a chat about the urban farm, because I mean, you were just telling me that you just feel really lucky that you've managed to work all the way through the whole of lockdown and everything in a farm. I mean, do you know what? Part of me just thinks it can't get much better than that.
I know. I'm really lucky, to be honest. Yeah, I just live in the city centre, so I just walk here every day, and I've been able to do that every day since March when we went into the first lockdown. So yeah, exceedingly lucky. It's just like an oasis here. You wouldn't believe you were just a mile and a half out of the city centre.
No,
it's a special place.
I have to say, I went on your website. There is the most stunning photograph as the header on your website. I'm going to have to pinch it from my Facebook because
you're more than welcome to.
It sums up Leeds, right? It really sums up Leeds. Anyone who's watching, just go to the website and have a look at that photograph, because there they are, the most 2 beautiful cows with hills and moors, and then the city centre in the background, and the the skyscrapers of the city centre. Now I know this part of the world really well because you can see I've got Woodhouse Ridge behind me there, which is just opposite the farm, and it's where I live. Anyone who doesn't know Meanwood Park Leeds and doesn't know the farm, and as we know, kind of quite a lot of people might not do, you would never imagine you are in the city centre.
You wouldn't. You really wouldn't.
Look at it behind you. It's astonishing. And that whole part where the farm is in Meanwood Valley, it is just literally, it's a whole corridor right into the city centre.
It is.
Pure countryside.
Yep. And people can come and enjoy it 7 days a week when we're open, obviously, not in lockdown. But I encourage anyone who's not been, please do come down and just explore the animals, but also just the scenery, that, as you say, if there's a little walk you can do up near the fields and you get that amazing view into the city centre, which is just stunning.
Yeah. So 40 years the urban farm's going. I mean, I remember when it was opened, and it was so exciting that we were going to have something like that, in the city. I mean, you do a really crucial job, don't you? Because there are probably kids and people in Leeds for whom that may have been the first time that they ever saw a connection between animals, nature, food, and their own lives.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, we do work with approximately 10,000 young people in schools each year, where they come and learn about all kinds of things, as you say, to do with animal care. Come and be a farmer for a day. They can learn about rocks and soils, about habitats, mini beasts, all kinds of exciting things like that. We also work with adults with learning disabilities. It's been a long-standing project here for all 40 years. We offer opportunities for people with learning disabilities to come and help look after the animals and grow food on our market garden, which is a lovely project.
Yeah, and because you've got the cafe, you've got the shop, and I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, you know, the mental health impacts of being able to be in nature, be near the animals, look after them, do that care of the animals is just massive, isn't it?
It is. And through lockdown in particular, we had a group of volunteers who came and helped us. So we've just launched a Veg Box Scheme. So that group of volunteers has helped bring back into production a lot of our land, as well as helping us pack up the veg boxes. And I know, speaking to some of those volunteers, the impact on their mental health, because they'd otherwise be stuck at home, is just immense.
Those veg boxes, are they going to families in need, or are they going to people to, can I buy them? How does that work?
So yeah, we launched it in, when was it, June, online really, and they were sort of sold out within about a week. I
can imagine.
But we're going to be expanding it next year. That was just to 25 households for, how many weeks was it, from June to October? But we're hoping to extend that to probably double next year. We did also give some of the food that was left over to sort of food banks and things. But yeah, we're keen to explore that whole area, really.
Because, of course, it is a working farm. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's not, I don't want to say not just a place for people to go, because it's such an important place for people to go. But you are a working farm. You're doing the food growing, and you've got what? Cows, pigs?
We've got cows, pigs, alpacas, clearly, sheep, goats, chickens. And we've got a few small animals, some guinea pigs and a rabbit so far. So yeah, a range of things to see.
How close up and personal, you know, can some of the young people or the adults with learning disabilities, how close up and personal can people get to the animals if they actually take part in any of the schemes that you have running at the farm?
Literally, they will be supervised in the fields or in the stalls, helping to feed, helping to muck out, and all the other tasks that need doing. So
all the glamorous jobs then. That's
all the glamorous jobs.
You're sitting in your comfy office, aren't you? Feet up.
I do my fair share. I do a bit, yeah. I do a weekend once a month. We all take it in turns to look after the animals. So I do a weekend, and I really enjoy that, to be honest. It's great fun.
So tell us a bit about some, I mean, I'm really intrigued about a lot of the young people for whom I'm sure, you know, 40 years you've been going, there will be young people whose lives you've turned around because you've given them a chance to be close to the animals and discovering that you know, I mean, that's their passion. That's
absolutely. So we run a project called Reconnect Project, which is specifically aimed at young people who are at risk of exclusion from school. So it's like an alternative education program where they'd come down for a day a week, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and literally get involved with all the different tasks on the farm, a bit of animal care, horticulture, conservation. And you really do see what difference it makes. The kids, it's almost like a weight lifted off their shoulders, and they're obviously getting the more one-to-one personal support and assistance. And I know the schools have fed back that it really, really does make an impact for when they go back into the classroom. So yeah, it's really important work. Likewise, we run a forest school. So Sarah, who runs that, and again, she's been running it through lockdown. That's reaching families and toddlers. and all kinds of families have been coming who've been in very difficult circumstances through the period. But again, after an hour of being in the forest doing all kinds of den making and making fires and things like that, you could just see the light coming back. It makes the power of nature is just amazing.
Well, it is amazing, and you know, something like that. I mean, I was smiling there because you give a family a chance to be a family together and have fun and get dirty and not worry about things and and we know the impact that being in nature has on pretty much everybody's mental health anyway. Absolutely. I mean, one of the things you'll never know, I guess, you will never know, some of those young people who came along, you'll never know how many of them were stopped from getting into more difficulties and more trouble or more antisocial behaviour because of their time on the farm. But you know, it has to have done that, doesn't it?
Absolutely
changed lives.
There are a few who come back who came 10, 15 years ago, and they're working, they're happy, and they just love the farm and what it did for them. But one thing we are going to try and get better at is just capturing the impact of what we do, because that's really important going forward. As a charity.
Just to say, people, we've got quite a few people watching us on Facebook, so go on, post us your comments and give us your comments and your thoughts and your questions and join in the debate, because I'm obviously you're not watching it, Adam, because you're out and about. But I am here sitting at home. I mean, obviously I'm not out and about in the ridge. I've got a green screen behind me, but I wish I was out in the ridge, because even though the sun's not shining and the sky's a bit grey behind you, it's
still nice there. Yeah.
Marvelous place to be. There's so many studies, isn't there, that show that when young people grow up with animals or have to tend and care about animals, they tend and care much more about the world around them, and they tend and care for people much more. It's almost like it instills a thing of nurture and responsibility into us.
Yeah, and you can almost tell with the animals when you've got young people in with them that they're sort of looking out for them. I know it sounds strange, but particularly our goats, some of our goats, when the group's going with them, one of our goats in particular just loves people and young people. So yeah, animals can be very nurturing.
They can, and goats have officially been named the coolest animals. I have to say, they are officially now the coolest animals on the planet, because they always look like they're skipping. You must have seen that the thing that does the round to Bee Gees to stay in the round. Yeah, and it's just absolutely brilliant, because goats just seem to have so much fun. They are super cool, our goats, basically. They are. So tell us a bit more about some of the other stuff that the urban farm does, because my guess is you're making a big contribution to trying to tackle a lot of the climate issues in Leeds, not least just being there and the amount of dioxide you're putting back into the atmosphere.
Yeah, I guess the stuff we're doing around food growing is contributing to that. As I mentioned, Ben and Luke, the two chaps who run that, who are absolutely amazing, over the last 18 months, 2 years, have brought what was quite a derelict, rundown 1 and a bit acres slowly back into productive use. I think we're up to about 60% of it now, growing veg and fruit. We're keen to explore how we can get involved with the sort of the food poverty initiatives in the city. We're part of Feed Leeds, which is looking at that. We're looking to see how we can feed into something called Leeds Patchwork Farm, which is trying to join the dots, bring together all the different food growers in the city, and make sure there's a good way of distributing that, particularly to those who need it most. So we're working with them on a potential project. So yeah, I guess the food growing is probably the main bit that we're doing around enhancing the environment. Another area is just our shop. We have a shop that currently, I think it's fair to say, there's some products in it that are coming from the other side of the world, a lot of packaging that's not great. So we're looking to see how we can reduce that, get more locally produced products, products that are not made from plastic. And that's not necessarily easy. Trying to find companies that make toys that are not plastic isn't great. So if anyone's got any suggestions on that, be grateful for help with that. We did put out a pitch asking local crafters if they wanted to send through details, then we might be interested in selling their local crafts in our shop, and we got a massive response to that, actually. But yeah, that's another area we're looking to see if we can reduce the negative impact we're having on the environment, really.
Yeah, really good. We've got a question on Facebook. Lou's watching. Hi, Lou. She says she had a walk through the grounds recently and she loves the wooden sculptures. What's the story behind them? Tell us about these wooden sculptures. Are you anywhere near them now? Or
I'm not, but I could walk down. Let me climb over the fence.
Are you all right talking and walking? It's like the West Wing. Can you talk and walk?
I'll see. We'll see.
You've been a politician long enough in the past, Adam. You can talk and walk.
What are you saying? So the story behind that is Shane Green, who is a wood sculptor. We had 3 trees that had to be taken down because of safety issues 4 or 5 years ago, I think, but their stumps were remaining. So he saw those and thought, gosh, I could do some of my sculpture with that. And he does it all with a chainsaw. But then this summer he said, well, I'm quite happy to loan 10 pieces of wood sculpture that we can put out on the farm, which we've done lower down the farm in an area that a lot of people don't currently know about, to try and encourage people just to walk down there. So we've got a sculpture trail that when we reopen again, people can come down, get a map and go and explore. And we want to do more of that kind of activity, really. I'm really keen to see if we could do something like we've got an idea of a outdoor musical instrument trail.
Lovely.
And just all kinds of exciting things like that. So I'm just walking a bit faster. No,
don't walk too fast. We don't want you out of breath. Don't walk too fast. And when he was doing the ones on the stumps with the chainsaw, did you manage to video any of that? But that was amazing.
We did.
Watch the sculptures come to life.
I think we've got on our Instagram page and on our Facebook page some of the videos of that, but we'll post some more so people can have a look. But yeah, I'm just coming up to a piece now. Let's turn around.
Oh, look! Wow. So is that one of the ones that he lent, or is that one of the ones he did?
No, this is one of the original ones. He does them all by chainsaw, but yeah, this is what was a stump. If I walk around it, I'm not very good at being a cameraman. Clearly, I wouldn't get the job.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a fabulous job. And of course, we can see the great building, the main farm building.
The epicenter. Yeah.
Yeah, and Lou says they're gorgeous. She's put a heart on Facebook there. They are fabulous, aren't they?
It's very clever. I always thought sculpture was something you had to do with like hand and chisel or something, isn't it? But to be able to do it with there's another one, with a chainsaw is just remarkable.
I met Shane early one Saturday morning for BBC Radio Leeds, doing some totems up at the park right next to Canal Gardens.
Okay, yes.
And I went up there and he was doing, and they were absolutely enormous. I mean, because they were obviously really, really tall. So I was interviewing him. I was at the bottom and he was right at the top of the trees. I mean,
was he?
How many, 20 feet up these trees or whatever. It's just astonishing what he was doing.
He's very clever, isn't he?
Very, very
I'll just walk down to the last one.
Talented.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd encourage anyone to come on down and have a look at the other 10 that are dotted down the far coppice area. Go and explore. This is his last one that we've got here.
Oh, wow, look at that. That's great.
Yeah.
All really different, aren't they? Rob says there's a cycle route, Bike Route A leads to Woodley that goes through the farm. They pass through it 3 or 4 times a week. It's a beautiful place.
There is indeed.
Yeah. And of course, you are just on the edge of the Leeds, what's it called, the Leeds countryside, Dales Way.
And the Meanwood Trail.
And the Meanwood Trail there. And for anyone, I mean, I always imagined that everyone in the city knows this part of the city, but it's really interesting. I've done quite a few talks with people who don't. And, you know, it is an astonishing park because you can start off down the bottom of Meanwood Road, you can walk up through the ridge, you can come up through the farm, then you can sort of meander your way up, then back through up into Meanwood Park, which then takes you into the Hollies. And then from the Hollies, it takes you over the Ring Road, and then sort of you can follow that up past Eckup up towards by the reservoir, and then also by Goldenacre Park. I mean, you know, just astonishing, this whole greenery and woodland that takes you right the way out. More love for the sculptures coming in on Facebook.
Oh, good.
Because they are absolutely brilliant. How do you keep going financially?
So the honest answer is the lockdown period has been a struggle. We were losing, first lockdown, about £16,000 a month. But we did a crowdfunder, which raised just about £25,000, and we're very, very grateful to everyone who helped and contributed to that. We also furloughed some staff, which we've done again, and got some other grants. So we've managed to, well, we're still here.
Yeah.
Like a lot of charities, our reserves are right down, and we do need to try and get income back going again. But we're here. That's the main thing, and a lot of that is down to the generosity of many people in Leeds. So thank you very much to everyone who contributed. But
and people can still visit at the moment. Can people still visit at the moment? We've
had to shut to visitors at the moment.
Right.
I mean, they can walk down the cycle path. They also, the area where the alpacas are, they can have a walk around that area. But we've had to cut the rest of the area off. Well, we're required to by the government, basically, under these latest guidelines. But hopefully, after the 2nd of December, we get the permission to open up again. Fingers crossed.
And I'm guessing via your website, if anybody does want to donate, can they donate to the fund?
They can indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, how's the kind of city response? You know, like the institutions and the council. How's the response been in terms of?
The council are brilliant. Obviously, the council are our landlord, but they give us tremendous support. We get some grants for that. For the work we do with adult and young people. And they also give us a lot of other in-kind support. So I can only say thank you very much to the council. And we're working closely with other third sector organisations and trying to develop relationships with the health service. So we're exploring how we can sort of tap into the social prescribing work and funding.
Of course, social prescribing being where people get prescribed activities other than medicines when they go.
That's right, absolutely. And obviously, the government have just launched a green social prescribing initiative, recognising the power of nature. So we're working with people like TCV and Groundwork and the third sector organisations in the city with health to see if we can jointly bid for some of that money so that doctors and others will be able to prescribe activity down here at the farm and at other places.
Are you part of the Our Future Leeds initiative?
Yes, we're connected in there. I went along to some of the meetings about the lottery funding, which they were successful in receiving.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, I don't know the exact figures, so nobody quote me on kind of giving the exact figures, but it's a lot of money. Was it 5 million or something over 5 years?
I think it was,
3 million over 5 years, something like that. So it's a major, major project. And what's been so amazing about it is there's so many different organisations have all really come together to say we need to do something to tackle climate change and tackle all those environmental challenges in the city, and they're all working together in a really cohesive way. It's an amazing project.
Yeah, they've done really well to pull that together and to be successful. So absolutely.
And I think it shows, like you were talking about, was it called our Patchwork Farm that you mentioned?
Leeds Patchwork Farm, yeah,
Leeds Patchwork Farm. That, you know, a lot of the challenges we face at the moment are so big that they are only ones that people can all do together. by looking at the different contributions that lots of different organisations can make, and really trying to join those up so we can get the best. And I really like the fact you were talking about that with the food, you know, that is going to make it so much more potentially impactful, the fact that everybody's joining up rather than trying to do that all on your own. No, I'm really keen that we do work with other organisations, even other organisations that might be doing similar things, but seeing ourselves as collaborators rather than competitors is just so crucial. It's really important. So any last sort of any last kind of plea to people watching, and to the people of Leeds who'll watch this afterwards, because we know they all watch these lunchtime lives later on. Any more pleas to people, or any messages that you've got?
I guess first of all, when we reopen, please come on down. If you'd like to become a member, that's another way of supporting the farm. For there are different rates, but it's around £20 a year. But I'm just keen to hear people's experiences of the farm. What's good, what's not so good? How would they like to see the farm develop going forward? What does an urban farm in the 21st century mean? So, yeah, I'm really keen to hear other people's ideas, and also how we can. We were talking about reducing our impact on the environment, how we as an organisation can do that. That's a piece of work we're going to be looking at. So any help or suggestions around that would be gratefully received. Yeah,
well, you're all over social media, so it's dead easy for people to get in touch with you. Can you just do one favour to finish up? Will you just hold up your mic, right, to the because there's no sound. There's no sound. You're 1.5 miles outside the city centre. Right.
We're actually lucky because we're right next to the household waste site. Normally there's lots of bangs and crashing going on, but it's absolutely quiet today. But yeah, generally it is very peaceful, a very restful place.
People want to find you, you're right next to Meanwood Tip.
That's it. Next door
to Meanwood Tip, basically.
Indeed.
But yeah, it is. I mean, it is just astonishing, and we can see that there, and the sculptures look great. Thanks for doing that. So we've seen alpacas, and we've seen amazing sculptures there. Wow! Oh, honestly, this is great. Thank you so much for being willing to do this, walking around rather than like me just sat on my bottom in front of a computer screen. It's made it absolutely brilliant, Adam. Keep up the amazing work, you and everybody else at the farm, because you are an important part of the city.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
Part of the city, and we need to do all we can to keep the farm going and keep the contribution. So thank you ever so much, and everyone can get in touch with you. As I say, you're all over social media, can get in touch with you all those ways. Thanks to everybody who's been watching as well. We have had people watching, and we know that whenever we put these out, they get loads more views afterwards. Tomorrow I think we're going to be live on YouTube. And we're going to be chatting to Yorkshire Building Society, thinking about what financial institutions can do around sustainability and keeping our city as sustainable as possible. But Adam, are you cold? Are you going back for a nice warm cup of that?
I'm not cold actually, but I have got some soup, homemade soup that I'm going to put in the microwave.
What flavour? Come on, we need a bit of soup.
Roast tomato soup.
Very nice, roast tomato. I have to say, I tell you what, it was, blooming heck, it was gorgeous. I made roast butternut squash and coconut Thai soup.
Ooh, that's a bit fancier than mine.
It was fancy pants, but it was very, very good, because in this at this time of year, soup is definitely the thing.
It is.
Yeah. So keep up the amazing. But you're working on a farm. You're going to be hardy anyway.
Indeed. Thank you for having us.
No, thanks so much. That was absolutely brilliant. And thanks everyone who's watching. We will be back again tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We'll see you then. Keep doing all the amazing work that you're all doing, everybody, to keep Leeds as sustainable as possible. Take care.
Bye-bye.